Hello everyone, my name is Jemima and welcome to today's bookish video. I love books and sometimes things tug at me while I'm reading that I feel I want to share and discuss with you guys. I learn a lot of valuable life lessons from books and I feel like it's such an enriched experience. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my most recent read, 1984 by George Orwell, and why I'm scared I live in a world with no privacy. I started reading 1984 not really knowing what to expect. I remember it was one of a couple of books recommended to me while I was in college along with Animal Farm by George Orwell, but I got around to reading Animal Farm and never read 1984. And when I would remember, I would just be like, I don't really think it's my genre. Now I have finally read 1984 after putting it off for so long, and the first thing I do want to say about this book is that it is very depressing. I do not think it's a bad book or boring book at all. In fact, 1984 is a literature masterpiece and George Orwell is a genius. I 100% agree with everyone to say this is a must read, something you have to read at one point in your lifetime. And it is definitely life-changing because your perspective you'll be woke. Despite this book being so amazing, I do think it was very soul-crushing for me to read. It made me sad and scared, and it actually added to my trust issues. When I was looking at comments after I finished reading the book, someone described it as probably the most intense feeling of helplessness I have ever felt while reading the book. And I completely agree with that. The first thing that made me uncomfortable was the surveillance to the telescreens. Basically, a telescreen is not for entertainment purpose, it is to monitor and track your actions and can speak and shout back at you. At one point, Wilson was doing the required morning exercises and the lady on the telescreen who was leading the session said, "Wilson, you're not bending properly." Full government name and everything. And like, how did she know that? Because someone was watching him and then reported to her. And then on live television, she's saying his full government name to everyone, including him, saying, "You're not bending properly. We are watching you," basically. The thing with the telescreen as well that make them even more creepy is the fact that you can't switch them off. They are on 24/7, so you have propaganda music and news playing non-stop. To me, this seemed like a nightmare scenario because how annoying is it to never have any peace and quiet? In this dystopia world, there's no such thing as privacy. Even in your own home, everything you say and do is recorded and the thought police are watching you. Big Brother is also watching you. I got paranoid after reading this because I was looking at the world today and I was just like, privacy is such a big issue right now and the lack of it. And as time goes on, it looks like this dystopia is more of a prophecy than fictional writing, which is very scary. If you think about it, in the 21st century, CCTV cameras exist. They are very useful, but they exist and they didn't used to exist before. Another thing is reality television becoming the normal, with one of the biggest ones in the world called Big Brother, named after the 1984 book. We have mobile phones that are tracking our location and social media making me literally sick because it stores everything. I was trying to have this discussion with my brother and like just share my worries, and he looked at me and he's like, why are you on YouTube then? And I said to him, well, I feel like YouTube is a little bit better for me because I can like edit and cut and change my videos. Whereas if I had someone just watching me constantly, I just feel so creeped out and vulnerable, and that's completely different matter. And so it's not like, oh, I don't want to share things, it's I want to choose what I want to share. And in this world, this 1984 world, there is no choice. But really, when I say I don't like someone watching me, it's also because of what are they doing with the information they're gathering. In 1984, the thought police had scientists who were studying people's speech, behavior, and patterns, all in order to be able to read someone's mind and try to predict who will rebel. In some of the last chapters, I literally got chills because O'Brien would say to Wilson, "I know what you're thinking," and literally go on to say exactly what Wilson had just thought. The thought police were studying your actions and behavior to be able to control and manipulate you better. These scientists were accumulating information on people so that when interrogated, they'll be able to know exactly how to push someone's buttons and also create their biggest fear in room one-on-one. All in order to break you down into complete submission and become a mere empty shell. Next, let's talk about how community is messed up in this dystopia world. You are forced to be part of your community, attending meetings, going on hikes, preparing for parades for the party, which is what they call their government. Yet even though you spend all this time together, literally every night a week doing some sort of activity, there is really no authentic relationship. There is no bonding and trust in these circles. This is because the communities were designed as a way to further monitor people. People did not speak or act casually because of fear of spies among them who would report them to the thought police. The only loyalty that exists is loyalty to Big Brother. Friends do not laugh together, husbands and wives do not share secrets or even love each other, and parents do not trust their children. In this dystopia world, it was normal for you to be scared of your child, really, because you could go to sleep and maybe you're subconsciously saying something that doesn't align with Big Brother, and in the morning you'll be arrested because your child has reported you to the full police. The party really focused on implementing the doctrines into the children at a really young age. They got them to wear uniforms and get excited about public execution like that's something cool. I remember when Wilson met Julia, I thought their relationship had potential to be a lasting secret love, and that maybe it was possible to still have care and affection for each other. I also remember when Wilson first spoke to O'Brien and revolution seemed like it was something already in the works. And I also remember realizing that all of this is pointless and there is no hope for change. It's very depressing, I know. Lastly, I want to talk about affirmation. The book repeats the slogan of the party several times. Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past. The party rewrites events of the past and controls the narrative of history so they can maintain their position of authority. Wilson's job was to change pieces of text so that it would be in favor of the party. For example, one of the leaders has said in a speech that there'll be no reduction in the chocolate allowance. However, soon the chocolate allowance did fall, and so Wilson had to go back and change that part of the speech. The party can never be wrong, and it was the job of the Ministry of Truth to ensure that. The craziest part of all of this is that the population would have themselves heard that the chocolate allowance was not meant to decrease. However, when they had seen that the chocolate allowance had fallen, they had to use doublethink on themselves to either make it so that the chocolate allowance has remained the same or in fact increased. Doublethink means 2 + 2 = 5 if the party says so. Some of the main ways the party passed on the information they had rewritten was through news, books and posters controlling everything from the Ministry of Truth. Now in the 21st century, mainstream news can be selective depending on the discretion of the network. However, there is still freedom of information as there are many independent newspapers as well as resources online that are available. I have a scenario I want to share compared to 1984. Over the last year, I've seen leaders contradicting themselves in one of the worst ways. One of the biggest ones for me was on the 16th of December, Boris Johnson said that it will be inhumane to cancel Christmas. And then literally not even up to 4 days after, he said Christmas is cancelled. People in the UK snapped. It was literally chaos. No one was happy with him. Now, if this was 1984, Boris would have said on the 16th, Christmas is happening, and on the 20th, he would have said Christmas is banned. Then the news articles would have read there has always been a ban on Christmas. That would have caused the population to use doublethink on themselves to say there had always been a ban on Christmas. There would not have been any proof that Boris had overpromised and that he was wrong, because all of that would have been altered. And so just imagine if it was possible, if the government could do that, if they had that much control. Just sit and think on that scary thought for a moment. And with that, we have come to the end of this bookish video. 1984 is a must read and I wholeheartedly recommend it. In my first bookish video, I mentioned how sometimes I struggle to read and I can't focus, and so I've been using Audible a lot to get through books. However, this book, 1984, was the first book with pages that I have managed to read and finish this year. And so I was very proud of myself. However, it was still a little hard, especially sometimes to read the political ideas. But I wanted to read on, and so I found myself trying and focusing more than usual because I felt like the book was very interesting and important, something I had to read. It was something I had to read for myself. I have linked this book down below. Let me know in the comments if you've read it or if you have anything else to add to some of the points I've mentioned. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, remember to like, comment and subscribe and ring the notification bell so you know when I post. Bye!